If you're asking me, these 10 fragrances right here are some of the very best releases that we've had within the past 20, 25 years or so. I mean, these are really just that good. There's something about each of these that stands out in its own unique way. And also you'll find that with a lot of these here, they have since spawned a whole bunch of fantastic flankers, which have also gone on to do very well within the past, more so recent years. And so the names of these are never going to die. You're going to hear these 10 talked about pretty much all the time, forever. I mean, these are legends, these are icons, and it's pretty cool that we've been in a time where we've been able to see these be released and talked about and flankers be produced and also do very well. So I think these are some of the best men's fragrances that we've had, in my opinion. And so I want to go over each one of these today. Now, most of these you've probably heard of before, but I like to go through these and bring them up and talk about them. And I'm sure you guys like to hear about these and think about them and wear them and discuss them as well, because while we are very familiar with them at this point, they're still fantastic, and really they're just hard to beat. And so I will link these down below if you have any interest in any of these. If you haven't picked any of them up yet, what are you waiting for? You got to have these in your collection. Also, I have a mailing list you can sign up to. If you hit the first link down below, you can hop on that completely free. Anytime something rare, hard to find, discontinued comes into stock, I send out an email. Most notably, we had Luminous Night, 100 ml testers for $89. Great buy on that one. That's usually well over 100. Bulgari Aqua Amara, 50 ml came into stock. So things like that generally sell quick. I send out an email and you guys can hop on that and take advantage of it before it's gone. Now, I want to get things kicked off with Dior Homme Intense. This one has iris, lavender, ambrette, which is muskmallow, so has a sweet creamy iris, a little bit of a chocolatey feel, some aromatics coming from the lavender. This is iconic and it's timeless. Now, it did not start with Dior Homme Intense, obviously. It started with Dior Homme all the way back in, I believe, 2007. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that I think was the first Dior Homme. And then from there, we had to Dior Homme 2011 and then Dior Homme 2020, which completely changes it up. And then they brought back Dior Homme Original, right? That's just the Hommes. And from that point, we've had Homme Intense, a couple different versions, Homme Cologne, a couple different versions, all of the sports, and so on. But this line is very well done, well executed. All of them, in my opinion, are very good, maybe with the exception of, one or two of the sports or something, but they all stand out in their own way. Dior Homme Parfum, I completely forgot to mention, but is also fantastic and very hard to get. There's a ton of great flankers in this line, and I think Homme Intense is one of the ones that we focus on the most because it's one of the best, but it's also one of the easiest to get. Homme Original is kind of hard to get these days. Obviously, Homme 11 and that sort of thing are just nowhere to be found, and 2020 just doesn't do the same thing. So I think all around this one gets a ton of respect, as it should, and is just hands down a phenomenal release. Simply one of the best out there. And when we're talking about a list of some of the best fragrance releases we've had, again, within the past 20, 25 years, Bleu de Chanel Eau de Toilette comes to mind. It could be the Eau de Parfum, and hey, I love the new Parfum as well, or the newest, right? Newest version. It's not really new anymore. Chanel, come on, what are you doing, right? You're falling behind. But the Eau de Toilette is obviously where it all started, and we have this to thank for the blue fragrance madness that is still going on to this day. And I'm not complaining. I love my blue fragrances. I have pretty much all of them, and I wear them all quite often in the warmer months. But also, Bleu de Chanel is no exception. I wear this one quite a bit. Generally, the Eau de Parfum or the Parfum, but the Eau de Toilette is truly an iconic scent. And look, I mean, there's something about this DNA in particular, the Bleu de Chanel DNA in and of itself, that is remarkable. It's classy. It's magical. I just love this stuff. And I also am a big fan of Yves Saint Laurent La Nuit de l'Homme. So it's all about the cardamom, lavender, some pepper going on in here as well. It's warm, spicy, seductive, and perfect for a date night. This, of course, got a ton of hype, I don't know, 5 or 6 years back. It was kind of when it was really buzzing. That's around the time I was getting into collecting. Knew I had to get it at some point, spent all of my money on a 100 ml bottle, not this one, and the rest was history. Fell in love with it. Actually, now that I think about it, this might be my first bottle. I think I might have sprung for the 200, just going right for it. I can't remember, but you know, I ended up getting it at some point very early on in my collecting. And I just gotta say, guys, this stuff is truly something else. There's nothing else out there on the market that is like La Nuit de l'Homme. There are a few things that try to get close to it. You've got, you know, a Cerruti 1881 signature, which is like a leathery take. You've got Trussardi Riflesso, which kind of touches on it a little bit, but somehow nothing gets close to this. I don't even believe there to be any solid clones of La Nuit de l'Homme, which is quite bizarre. I don't know why. They could easily make one that gets the performance in check, and I think it would do crazy good, but I just don't think there is one. If there is, let me know. Like, I'm talking an actual clone, something very similar, like almost spot on, not something loosely inspired by. And if there is, I would like to know about it, but I just don't know if there is. Release date 2009, I think, so, you know, it's been out for a while, and it took a little while, I think, for the hype to really start going crazy, but this one is a remarkable scent and easily one of the best releases for men. Truly something unique. Okay, next up, this one I think was released in 96. So yeah, going on about 25 years at this point. Acqua di Gio Eau de Toilette, you know, just the original. Now you guys know my love for the flankers. Profumo, Profondo, and even the newer Eau de Parfum, right? I love them. But also, you got to think at just how crazy popular and successful the original Eau de Toilette is. I mean, it is truly mind-blowing. Like one of the most successful fragrances for men ever. And why is that? Well, that's because in one way or another, they struck gold with this DNA. I mean, it's truly just refreshing, clean, citrusy, easygoing, carefree, and versatile to the extreme. I don't think there's anyone out there that doesn't really like how this smells. Now, these days, are the flankers the way to go? Personally, I think so. I think Profondo, Profumo, Eau de Parfum, right? I think most situations, you're just better off going for one of those now. But still, this will work. This will work now. This will work 30 or 40 years from now still. That's crazy. But I mean, when Acqua di Gio was in its prime before all of the flankers, I mean, that stuff was just completely crazy. That is what everyone wanted to wear. At least that's what I've been told. Okay, next up, Prada L'Homme, just the original. It's all about the iris, neroli, some pepper in here, some cedar wood, a little bit of like a musky accord, even though officially I don't even think they list musk. Could be wrong, but really it's all about the fresh soapy iris. You know, this is going to be a nice clean office scent, work scent, school scent, what have you. This is not at all like Dior Homme Intense. Just because you see iris doesn't mean they are similar. They're vastly different. The Dior is sweeter and chalkier and more powdery and kind of, again, just more of a nighttime appeal. This one is the complete opposite. Fresher, daytime use, that sort of thing. It isn't really seductive in the way that Dior Homme Intense is. So generally, this is going to be a little bit more mass-pleasing, easier to pull off, and more versatile all around. You'll probably get your money's worth out of this one a bit more. That's just kind of how it is. That being said, Prada L'Homme, it's a great scent. It's a great DNA, and I can't remember. I think it's 2016, so a little bit newer in comparison to some of these others here. Give or take maybe a couple years, could be off on that, but somewhere around in there. And it speaks for itself. The success of this one has been crazy for good reason. Next up, we have the only niche fragrance that stumbled into this list. And the reason why is because this not only has taken over the entire fragrance community, I'm talking every single corner of the community, from the most snobby, prestigious niche lovers all the way over to the people who only want the dirt cheap scents and rack store fragrances, and all the way over to the people who only touch clones and everything else in between. Every single corner, and then indie stuff as well. Every single corner, this fragrance has infiltrated and lived rent-free in people's heads, including my own. I love Aventus. It's Aventus by Creed. I mean, this stuff here has been completely crazy ever since 2010. Maybe not ever since 2010. I wasn't in the community at that time. I don't know what the madness was like then, but I know just within the past few years. It's just been all over the place. Clones left and right, blowing up, getting attention all over. Aventus, you cannot escape this stuff. And so beyond what I just described there, the community, this one has even worked its way out into the real world outside of our little community, our little bubble here. There are people walking around that have plenty of money to just go into retailers and buy full bottles of Creed Aventus because they caught on as well and they realized that this is the good stuff. And not to mention you have Mont Blanc Explorer, which is a mainstream designer scent that is a clone of Aventus, and then all of the other clones themselves that people have gotten their hands on and are wearing out there. So this stuff is all over the place now. That being said, you can still wear this in most places, I would say, and smell unique and get great compliments. But it has worked its way out into the mainstream, which is pretty remarkable given this is a almost $500 scent at retail. Okay, moving on, we have Dolce Gabbana The One, Eau de Parfum. So this is all about the amber, okay? It's tobacco, some cardamom in here as well, actually. Just a little bit, but not a ton. Nowhere near La Nuit de L'Homme. It's all about the tobacco amber. Some woods going on. Another perfect date night scent. I've said it before, I will say it again, and I still stick to this. Nothing has changed my mind on this. The One Eau de Parfum and La Nuit de L'Homme still remains to be two of the best men's date night evening out scents that you can purchase, in my opinion. Yes, people know them. Yes, people probably wear them quite often now, but has anything come out that does a better job than these? No. Are there things out there that are way less common and that probably no one is wearing? Absolutely, but they're not going to do as good as this and La Nuit de L'Homme, in my opinion. There is something about the DNA, the smell, and the feeling that these evoke that just do that job perfectly. And I don't know if we'll ever see something that is as good and iconic as something like the One Eau de Parfum and La Nuit de L'Homme, hence why they're in this video. This, I believe it's a 2015 release. Of course, it started out with the Eau de Toilette. If you're gonna get one, get the Eau de Parfum. Eau de Toilette was obviously just a few years released prior to this. So, you know, now it's starting to kind of get some age, so to speak, the Eau de Toilette, but still, it's modern, it's classy, it's never gonna go out of style. And you guys know I love my Spicebomb Eau de Toilette. You know, the Extreme is amazing, the best bang for your buck tobacco vanilla scent that you can probably get, just if you're factoring in everything from price to performance to compliment factor, quality, uniqueness, and everything. Spicebomb Extreme is kind of it right there. But the Eau de Toilette, even now, in 23, is still amazing. It's that tobacco cinnamon mixture. It smells great. It's fun. It's playful. It's easygoing. It's carefree. For me, I'm out of the Spicebomb season right now. You know, we're officially starting to kind of head into spring. It's still cold here, still gloomy. Could wear this, but it just doesn't feel right. I'm kind of starting to gear up towards some spring scents and or just some heavier types of woody scents rather than like my almost kind of boozy, tobacco-y, cinnamon sweet scents like this and Extreme, which I tend to wear heavily around the holidays and then put away pretty quickly after. But this is a great one for the winter time. Smells great, great performance, great mass appeal, even still, just a remarkable scent. Running down to the end, second to last, we have Chanel Allure Homme Sport. So another Chanel, I mean, this brand has put out some truly amazing scents, and this is one of them. Eau Extreme, amazing. Edition Blanche, amazing. Allure Homme Cologne, fantastic. Allure Homme, the original, also great. They're all really good, okay? However, I think this DNA right here in particular is something special. I think they had a mixture of notes and accords come together here that worked maybe even better than anyone was expecting, because this is truly timeless and elegant and classy and sophisticated in its own way. And this came out in 2004, guys, okay? 2004. And it smells like it could have been released this year or last year, and it would smell just new and fresh and modern. That's pretty crazy. Now, Versace Pour Homme, right, came out in 2008. So this beat it by 4 years. And look how similar they are, right? The Versace is obviously fresher. It's more citrusy, more musky. This one actually is a little bit more creamy and aldehydic from the orange and aldehydes, but then also the tonka bean. So there are different wearing experiences between the two, but heavily inspired. So this one did it first. This is what kicked it off, and now we even have Missoni Wave, which is kind of a hybrid of the two, and that came out a couple of years ago. So this DNA is still alive, and there's still things that are popping up that smell similar to it, and I think that's really cool. This is one of my favorites. And we'll end this with another Dior. So starting off the video with Chanel and Dior, and we're ending it with more Chanel and Dior because these two designer brands, again, they're just on top of the game, and it's pretty crazy to see that. This one's probably not what you were expecting, but it's the one I wanted to go with, Fahrenheit, the Eau de Toilette. Does this need any introduction? I don't think so. It's all about the leather. It's all about the violet leaf in here, a ton of woods going on, lavender, nutmeg, warm spices. Kind of interesting atomizer on that. I mean, it's truly something special. It's kind of, I don't know, has this petrol smell, gasoline. It's got this masculine leathery accord, warm spices, aromatics, even some citruses down below, some woods if I didn't say that already. It's just one of a kind, so distinct. And again, most people know it. Most people were probably wearing this one for quite some time. But there's just something truly unique and special about the OG Fahrenheit. The flankers have all been great as well. A lot of them have been discontinued. And most notably, Le Parfum is one you can still get sometimes on discounters, and it's fantastic. Nice boozy accord on this DNA. But you gotta love OG Fahrenheit. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. 10 of the very best releases we've seen within the past 20-25 years. I will drop links to these down below. Again, deals on my mailing list and my community tab as well. But if you want to get any of those rare, hard to find, great deals, first link down below. Sign up and you can unsubscribe at any time. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.